Stephen Whiteman, you won the giveaway from last week. Our final giveaway. We are finished. We're done. This year, we are going to be back in 7 days. We're doing this video every week for the Comic Fam. Hit the like, slap the subscribe. We're talking about the comic books defining this generation of collectors, winding out the year right with the Kingpin. Gem from GemMintCollectibles, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. Just like number 10 on this list, we have Amazing Spider-Man 101, the first appearance of Morbius. The movie's coming out soon, the trailer looks promising, and the prices are going up.
The Living Vampire, Jared Leto, coming to a screen sometime in 2022. Slight delays, but so many members are after ASM keys. How about a key that is headed to the screen for sure? We have a 9.0 hitting $2,850 last week. That's up 5%, now landing at $3K.
The 9.2 sold for $3,500 just this October, and it's up 14%, now selling for $4,000.
The 9.4 going for $4,300 in August. That's up 5%, landing at the $4,500 mark, the first time in comic book history.
My whole thing is that I want to know what universe this takes place in. You got Venom, obviously a part of this universe, as Morbius says, we are Venom. But then you have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man posters in the background. Could this be Sony planting the seeds for their kind of shared universe of Spider-Man?
We have to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, and make sure to download the best comic app in existence, Key Collector Comics, where we source all of this data from, get access to this list that we're reporting on days prior to our video's release date, get suggested pricing, get up-to-date comic news, information, spec books, investment analysis, and at the list at number 9, we have Marvel Team Up 95, the first appearance of Bobby Morse as the Mockingbird.
Now, it was heavily speculated that Clint Barton's wife was going to end up being Mockingbird in the Hawkeye TV show, and we got that confirmation at the end of the season finale.
Bobby Morse is an agent. She works for S.H.I.E.L.D. She also becomes Agent 19 in the comic books. She would become the Huntress and the Mockingbird, who Clint Barton actually marries in the comics for a brief time, which is why a lot of members are speccing on Mockingbird. We have a 7.5 that hit $70 back in August. That's up 21% this week, landing at $85. The 9.0 going for $130 last week is up 15%, selling for $150.
Yeah, this book has been hot. It was actually on the Hot 10 list at number 6 last week. A 9.6 sold for $270 in December this month. It's up 8%, now selling for $292.
And the leading 9.8 record was set this past week as well. And I'll remind the community that back in January 2021, this book at a 9.8 could have been secured for a little less than $250. Well, this past week, the book has hit 1,000.
And speaking of speculation, number 8 on the list, we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 19, the first appearance of Mac Gargan, who would become the Scorpion, which I kind of thought was going to happen during No Way Home.
Mac Gargan doesn't go full Scorpion in the movie. However, he goes full Scorpion in the very next issue of this run, in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 20. At the end of the movie, however, Doctor Strange is trying to hold back characters from entering the universe, from the multiverse. And these clouds, these images, these characters, although you can't really make them out, there is one that kind of looks like the Scorpion.
I'm not seeing it. I think it looks like a big box or a transformer, or if you're talking about the little white glow, that doesn't look like anything to me. Not enough for me to go invest into a book, at least.
It's kind of hard to make it out. I mean, I kind of see a Scorpion figure in those clouds. However, some members think it is superior Spider-Man, just another Spidey in the universe. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. You know we got a giveaway on deck, Comic Fam. But enough of that. Let's look at the numbers. The 4.5 had 2 different sales that broke records this week. Prior record set in October for $335. We had one sale for $350 and another for an increase of 37%, selling for $458.
And the 6.5 is just right behind it. It sold for $450 in July. It's up 4%, selling for $470, just a little bit higher than that 4.5.
Then we have the 7.0 going for $575 last week, up 4%, now selling for $600 at the list at number 7. We have Vengeance number 1, the first appearance of America Chavez, because of the trailer revealed at the very end of the movie of Spider-Man No Way Home and the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer officially being released this past week.
And it doesn't hurt that every Disney Plus show seems to be gearing up for a Young Avengers show.
She was also a part of the A-Force run, another team to spec on. I've been telling the community to get your America Chavez books ready. This is going to be a banger, and the community is so excited after seeing her appear not just in a Marvel Legends figure that was released this past week, but in the trailer itself. The 9.8, selling for the second highest sale in the comics history, sold for $1,700. The only higher sale was recorded back in April for 2000 this year.
There's only 12 of those 9.8s on the census. And then we have the Deodato variant. A 9.8 for that sold for $4,400 back in June, and it's up 32%, now selling for $5,800.
There are only 93 copies of this variant on the census to date. Let's compare to some other next-gen heroes, the variants that they appear in. We're talking Edge of Spider-Verse, issue number 2, First Spider-Gwen, the Greg Land variant. 9.8's hitting $11,250, and there are a total of 335 copies of those on the census. That is more comparable to the cover A's of Vengeance number 1.
Then we got Ultimate Fallout 4, the first appearance of Miles Morales, the J.J.Vic variant, which has only 163 copies in a 9.8, so less than that Greg Land variant, but more than the Deodato variant. And that book recently sold for $28,800.
At the list at number 6, we have Star Wars 42, the first appearance of Boba Fett in a standard size comic book. With the Book of Boba coming in less than 7 days to Disney+, members are bringing a lot of copies of high-grade issues to the market to sell. Is this a good idea? Gem, what do you think?
No, it seems like the height of the hype, man, right when the new show starts, because we don't know where he's going to be after this show ends. If they kill him off, if they stop the show, then that book is probably going to take a hit. So yeah, this is prime time to sell, and it looks like a lot of people agree.
Over this last year, we've only seen this book at a 9.8 direct market copy hit 4K and above. Only 3 times. In the last 7 days, we've seen 3 different instances where a 9.8 direct market copy hit the $4,000 marker. We've just doubled up on the market sales.
And we go from talking about a 9.8 to a 3.0, but it's a newsstand. This book didn't have any prior record set, but recently just sold for $169.
The 5.5 is also moving up. $240 for a newsstand was the recorded sale back in July. That's up 60% this week, now selling for $384. Next at the list, at number 5, Daredevil 131. The first appearance of Bullseye will not come off our list, Gem.
That's right, it's the 3rd consecutive week being on the list, and it actually came in at number 3 last week. We know that Hitmonkey wanted to use Bullseye for the TV show, and Marvel denied them, causing them to use Lady Bullseye. So speculators are doing what they do, speculating that there's bigger plans for Bullseye in the MCU.
I'll remind the community about last week's record breaker for the 9.6, an increase of 15% selling for an all-new high of $2,300. This week, well, we have the trickle-down effect happening. The 6.5 back in October could have been secured for $309. That's up 13%, selling for $350. The 9.0, going for $565 just this past December, is now up 59%, selling for $900.
And then we had a CGC 9.2 that sold for $819 back in September, and it's up 10%, now selling for $898. So room to grow since it's $2 shy of the 9.0. Moving on to number 4 on the list, I love how this is not even a spec book. It's Batman 423. It's just a dope cover.
An iconic cover by Todd MacFarlane. When he was on the podcast last, I asked him about this cover, and he told me that it was all about meeting the deadline. He wanted to draw The Dark Knight. Before he left DC, he had to crank something out, and it was this cover. We have an 8.0 going for $240 back in August, now selling for $250, an increase of 4%.
Yeah, I love how his explanation was kind of like he was cutting corners with that big cape, but it became such an iconic cover. A CGC 9.4 sold for $504 back in September. It's up 29%, selling for $650. And then there's a newsstand 9.4, which sold for $457 back in June, which sold for $800 for an increase of 75%.
Look at the newsstand effect there for a 9.4, something we don't see often, except for when the keys are on the rise. The 9.6 last week sold for $775. That's up 3%, now selling for $880. Gem, where can they find us every single week on Wednesday?
Man, you know it'd be Whatnot Wednesdays. Yours truly sets it off at 2 p.m. Pacific. That's 5 p.m. Eastern for my East Coast peeps. For 1 minute, $1, 1-hour auctions, man. Come join the fun, download Whatnot if you haven't. If you have, make sure to follow me, Comic Tom, and all the rest of the crew.
$1 starting auctions. Comic Fam, we got a huge crew over there. Whatnot is the best new place to buy and sell collectibles, funny books, expensive paper, affordable paper. I mean, records and Pokemon cards, sports cards, Magic. They do all that stuff, but we're there for the comics. Next at the list at number 3, Daredevil number 2, the second appearance of Daredevil. Oh, and we got a double key, the second appearance of Electro.
It could be a triple key considering it's the first time Matt Murdock crosses over with the Fantastic Four after he's hired to be their lawyer. Didn't we see that with a different superhero recently in the movies?
The 2.0 going for $190 in August is up 155%, selling for $485. The 3.0 in September could have been secured for $551. That's up 20%, now selling for $660.
And then we got an 8.0, which sold for $1,203 back in May. That's up 20%, now selling for $1,440. Is this Daredevil spec, or is it more of an Electro spec book?
Well, we heard just last week from Key Collector Comics an inside source informing them that Jamie Foxx was actually set to reprise the role again, that he may actually cross over from the multiverse depending on the success of Spider-Man No Way Home. Clearly, this movie has blown up, one of the biggest superhero movies of all time. Could this happen? It feels like a lot of things have to line up in order for Jamie Foxx to reprise the role. However, of all the characters, he really got a character redesign, not just the suit, not just the electrifying mask that really made him more like the OG Electro from the comics. He looks different. He's got a new haircut. He looks fit.
Yeah, and they really set him up to have a spinoff. He had a lot of dialogue. There's a reason for that. And like you said, the only character that was really revamped, everyone else kind of looked the same. Green Goblin had a little bit of a change as well. But yeah, it looks like they're prepping him to do his own thing.
Let me know in the comment section below what you think, Comic Fam, and I'll enter you to win a Davigo variant of House of Slaughter number 1. At the list at number 2, Incredible Hulk number 1.
First appearance and origin of the Hulk, Bruce Banner, Betty Jones, Rick Jones, and this is another example of you don't buy the grade, you buy the book.
That's right. You got to be talking about the 5.0 and the 5.5. First off, why don't we discuss the 5.0 and where that's come since 2014 to really give evidence to how much this book has propelled this year alone?
Yeah, starting in 2014, the CGC 5.0 sold for $13,189.
2015 would hit 14K. 2016, 15,500. 2017, there were multiple sales, but the lowest of them was 13,145, with the height of the market reaching 16,533.
In 2018, we had a $15,535 sale. In 2019, it sold for $13.8.
And then in 2020, we see a $16,256 sale. Notice, over the years, there hasn't been a deviation of above $3,000. The book has indeed gone up and down, but nothing more than $3K. Well, over this past week, we saw a 5.0 come to market. Prior record being set, as we mentioned, in 2017, over $16,000, selling for $60,000?
Yeah, for a 269% increase, it does seem weird. But this doesn't look like a 5.0, man. This thing is out here looking like an 8.0.
All right, take a look at the other sale that Key Collector is reporting on. A 5.5, prior record being set just this past April for $30K, selling for $36,066. Way less than the 5.0. But take a look at these pictures.
Yeah, I mean, you have a subscription crease on the 5.0 down the middle, but it's very faint and subtle. Everything looks super sharp, and the 5.5 has like Marvel chipping on the top. Maybe somebody thought that 5.0 could bump up on a press and clean or something.
This $60,000 sale for a 5.0 is tough to validate. It is pretty substantial. Maybe the buyer's trying to upgrade it. Considering the 8.0 broke records this week, to give you some perspective, $150,000 is what it went back for in June. That's up 25% this week, now selling for $188,000. Maybe someone thinks they're going to get lucky, but the gains are too extravagant to really believe that at this point.
Yeah, 60 grand just seems too high of a jump for this book, man. That's a little out there. But we got to consider that 8.5 last week sold for $240,000.
An increase of 82% for that book. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow Gem Mint. He's been doing this video with me for over Has it been over a year now? It's got to be damn close.
Yeah, man, we've been doing this a long time. And like I said last week, if we would have only been buying all these books a year ago that we were talking about then. Moving on to number 1 on the list, we have Doctor Strange, number 1, the first solo title. This was originally Strange Tales until they figured out, hey, people like this Doctor Strange.
I love seeing this book on the list. It's a great minor Doctor Strange key, and the book is indicating big gains. Let me show you how. The 6.0 back in September could have been secured for $118. That's up 76% this week, selling for $208. However, the 7.5 prior record set just past November for $150 is selling for less than the 6.0 this same week, selling for $180. That's an increase of 20%.
Yeah, these books just can't keep up. The 9.8 sold for $1,850 back in March, and that's up 84%, now selling for $3,400.
This is a perfect storm. We have the new all-time record leader of a 9.8 that's going to affect all the lower grades. We have 6.0s and 7.5s that can't even keep up, proving that the market is so hungry, they don't care about the grade deviation. They're after whatever they can get. Doctor Strange led Spider-Man No Way Home. He has his own solo movie coming where Scarlet Witch plays a large role, entering us into an all-new phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This minor key is on the rise for good reason. Hit the like, slap the subscribe, and, as always,
geek responsibly, stay minty fresh, and come join us on Whatnot.
Happy New Year, comic fam. Enough said.